Hello and welcome to this session. My name is Magdalene Kamau. I'm talking to you from Mombasa in Kenya. Mombasa is the most beautiful city in Kenya. You actually need to see that to believe it. Now, I am a computer technician by profession, but over and above that, other than repairing computers and building networks, I am a motivator. I mentor youth on how to turn their ideas that are in their mind into viable businesses. I also like motivating young people into achieving their dreams, their goals, and all that they have put in their heart so that they don't give up on their way, because someone had to do that for me. Now, why am I doing this? One, I'm a believer in beauty. In fact, whenever someone asks me, "How are you?" I answer, "I am beautiful with a dash of awesomeness," because I believe it. I know it. Now, my motivation to do what I do, to repair computers as well as deliver motivation speeches and mentor young people, is because I live in a town, in a city that is full of young people who have the energy, yet the energy has gone into waste. A good number of our youth in Mombasa are taken into drugs. So they're either in drugs, and when they're not in drugs, when you think they're so clean, a good number of them have been radicalized to believe in hate. They hate a certain group of mankind so much so that they're willing to blow them into pieces. You've heard of the cases in Kenya of a lot of bombing and a lot of destruction of human lives and property that have been going on. And because of that, I'm motivated to go out and talk to people about this beauty and why they need to embrace it. For that reason, I stand by 3 principles. And these are the principles I'd want to speak to you about today. Welcome. My first principle is start now and start with what you have. I'm naturally blessed and talented in speaking, and that is where I started with my motivation speeches. I did not wait to buy a camera or a laptop. I decided to just simply go out and speak to the people. Why? Someone needed to be spoken to, someone needed to be encouraged, someone needed to be advised. You never know what you have until you put it into use. So you have to start with what you have. That small idea you have, it may be simply cleaning. Cleaning of clothes, cleaning of dishes. Why don't you start offering that as a service to the people in your estate or in your school? Whatever the situation, give that as a service instead of waiting to discover something so big like a dishwasher. Okay, someone has already invented that, but maybe you want to develop your own. But hey, why don't you start with that? Because when you know what the people need, when you know the needs of the people, by offering them what you have, you're actually better placed than the other person outside who has no knowledge of the needs of the people. You will be better placed to charge for your services if you start with what you have. Don't wait for borrowed stuff. Don't go taking loans to develop a product. Start with what you have and start now. My second principle is give it all. Give it all and never hold back. Why am I saying this? One way or the other, we are all involved in the service industry. Whether you're selling a tangible good or you shine shoes, it doesn't matter. Why? At the end of the day, there is that time of interaction. And tell you what, the time of interaction, you form relationship. You want to form a good relationship even when you're doing your business, whether you're selling that tangible good or shining shoes. At the end of the day, the way you deliver that service, the way you give that service is what makes your customers come back. It is what makes people use you as a reference point. Whenever I see people who are selling in shops, handing over the goods in a half-hearted manner, in a sluggish, dead manner, I wonder, are they even motivated to be in the shop? Are they there for the sake of it? Or are they there because they really like it? You see, currently I'm a student. I'm actually in my 3rd year taking business information technology as a degree. And the funny thing about this is that when I went in for the first semester, I realized that there were very interesting positions that I never expected, known as the class representatives. Now, a class representative is not a paid-up leadership position. There are other paid-up leadership positions in my school. But in my case, I chose that position because I wanted to give my best in leadership, and I wanted to give it without the motivation of money. I didn't want the reward to come in form of money. I wanted it to come in form of any other way, like appreciation. I wanted people to have satisfaction. I want them to know what I knew and know it with all the confidence I had. So what I did, I took up the class representative position in every unit I was doing. Now, after some time, I realized that I needed to know my lecturers. I needed to know their offices, and that's what I did. So I knew my lecturers, I knew their offices, I knew my course coordinators, I knew the lecture rooms, I knew the meetings. Any event that was going to take place, I knew it right here. I actually went ahead and decided to take photo shoots of the timetable, because our timetables are usually printed out. We don't yet have them in software copies. Now, what would happen? The first person would call me and ask me, where is this lecture taking place? And I'll tell them, in this room. And the next time someone is missing their lecturer, they'd ask me, where is this lecturer? And tell them, down this corridor, and ask, the next corner, there is that office right there. And they realized that they could depend on me because I was giving everything I had. I had time for my studies and time to interact with people. And believe you me, at this point, I know every one of the lecturers in my institution, every one of them. I know my course coordinators and the ones in other departments. So even people in other departments, when they ask me about their own situations that are not actually my situations, I'm better placed. I know where they are because I've taken time to research. I give my all. Why? Because I believe I'm a leader, and leaders give their all. Are you a leader? Yes, you are. So give it all. And my third principle is lift someone. For you to be where you are right now, someone asking for help from you, it means you're better placed. You are at a higher level, and you need to lift someone to that level, or even better. Think of it from a teacher's perspective. A teacher trains a young boy through primary school or secondary school and all the way. The lecturers we have will train us in college. Funny enough, we become doctors, we become all those kind of specialists, and we leave them as lecturers. They lift us above themselves. Now, have you ever seen a situation where you are at work and someone actually is failing to make a sale? And you look at the situation and you realize that you're actually in a position to analyze from a distance and tell where they are going wrong. It would be very noble for you to lift that person up by pointing out what is wrong and showing them the solution. It doesn't pay to bring down somebody, but it does pay to lift someone up. If it's in class, for example, I'm in school, so I know this very well. There are times that a lecturer will teach a concept and I don't understand. Another student will stand up and say, "Sir, may I help the rest of the students?" Because he's able to communicate in a language that we all understand. As a fellow student, he will stand at the whiteboard and demonstrate it. He lifts all of us. Not because he's super in any other way, no. But because at that point, he's best placed to lift us up. And that saves the lecturer time explaining a concept. What is it that you have today that you know for sure you're better placed to help somebody? Because if you do have that one thing, it will be of great importance to actually brighten their day, put a smile on their face by actually lifting them up. Don't wait to see people fail. Don't wait to see people fired. Do it now. Lift someone up. And those are my 3 principles. Start now with what you have. Give it all and don't hold back. And lift someone up. My name is Magdalene, a strong believer in beauty. Talking to you from Mombasa. Thank you very much.